Let's bring in Sandra again.
All right. And Ambassador Nikki Haley as well, a 2024 Republican presidential candidate. Ambassador, thank you very much for joining us. These two hostages that have just been released, obviously this is incredibly welcome and good news that we are now hearing. What is your reaction to that? And all of us obviously are praying that more too will be released.
Thank you, Sandra. I mean, first I'll say 2 prayers have been answered and we've got 200 more to go. That's the first thing I'll say. The second thing I'll say to the Biden administration is don't fall for it. This is, I have dealt with Qatar in terms of trying to get hostages or actually hostage bodies out of Gaza. This is what they do. They're trying to earn favor with the United States. But look at the leveraging that's happening here. What you're seeing is that Hamas is worried about this ground war that's going to happen with Israel. Iran is worried that Hamas could lose and how bad that could be. And so what they're doing is they're going to throw 2 hostages out there, for one, to see if they can weaken us to keep Israel from going into Gaza, and 2, because they want to see if they can get something out of it. This shows that there have been some conversations between the Biden administration and Qatar. This also shows that Iran is trying to find ways to intimidate by having Hezbollah shoot rockets, by having things happen from Yemen towards Israel, and by having Hamas continue to do what they do. This is a time to be smart. Go in smart. Don't let this weaken us. Don't fall for it. We've got 200 more hostages in there. And don't forget what happened on October 7th. They want everybody to forget. We can never forget. Israel needs to stay focused, determined, and America needs to have their back.
All right. Well, we just put the picture up on the screen of that mother-daughter, the 2 hostages that were released. According to our sources, it was Qatari mediation that led to their release, and they are in the hands of the Red Cross right now. Ambassador Haley, we pray for more of those hostages to be released. As this continues and as that has now happened, where are you with this ground invasion, and should Israel move in, and when?
Yes, Israel should move in. They should do what they need. They are a strong military. They're a fighting force, and they're determined. They lost 1,400 of their brothers and sisters. And so, what I would say again is this is not the time to talk about restraint. This is not the time to talk about a ceasefire. This is the time to say to Israel, whatever you need, we've got your back. We're going to support you. We're going to help you. And this is a time to call out Iran. Don't ever forget, there would not be a Hamas without Iran. There would not be a Hezbollah without Iran. There would not be the Houthis without Iran. And so we need to make sure that Iran is very aware that we're going to have Israel's back regardless of how many hostages they release. We're going to have Israel's back regardless of how many rockets they try and send over to intimidate. We're going to have Israel's back. And if any American or any Israeli is killed in this process, there's going to be hell to pay. And they need to know that.
I'm not getting some sound from the squad who just took to outside the Capitol, held a news conference, press conference, whatever it is that you want to call it. It was a couple of members of the squad, Ambassador Haley, who stood up and they're calling for a ceasefire. You've seen Rashida Tlaib and others doing exactly that. The New York Times writes this on Israel and the progressive Jews feeling abandoned by their left-wing allies, Ambassador. Jewish leaders and voters said they were taken aback to discover that many of their ideological allies saw them as oppressors who deserve blame following the Israeli attacks. This is a new Gallup poll, Ambassador, shows Democrats' sympathies shifting in the Middle East to where there is now 49% with the Palestinians. Less with the Israeli, 38%. What does all of this tell you?
It's shameful. It's flat out shameful. The squad act like the terrorists. And what I'm waiting on is, where is Joe Biden? Why hasn't Joe Biden called out these terrorists? Why hasn't Joe Biden called out the squad? I mean, here they are, and they are basically mimicking pro-Hamas comments, mimicking basically what they're saying, trying to justify the deaths, the murders, the rapes of what happened. They refuse to acknowledge the bloodshed and the torture and the terrorists that have caused all of this. And so, look, I don't know the people that elected them in, but I do know a president who's allowing them to say these things, and he needs to step up. He doesn't need to go to the beach. He needs to call out the squad and tell them they've got to stop all of this terrorist talk and start supporting America and Israel and the freedom-loving countries that want to see this go away.
Ambassador Haley, we're getting just another update on those hostages, the mother and daughter released. The Prime Minister's office in Israel just released a Hebrew statement. We're attempting a translation here, where so far we know that the Prime Minister is saying in that statement he was able to meet with them a short time ago at a base in southern Israel, and they will be shortly met by their families. Wow, that is an incredible development. Ambassador Haley, appreciate you coming on with us.
God bless both of them. Yep.
Absolutely.
God bless both of them and the hostages. We still need to get home.
Ambassador, appreciate you joining us. Thank you.
Thank you.
That is